we were invited by Ken Lassiter, president of the Coalition of West Boynton Residential Associations, COBRA, to participate on a panel on understanding youth in crisis and intervention. And we look forward to many opportunities to work with COBRA as well as other community organizations to promote education and awareness about mental illness. As Gloria mentioned, we're working with the staff of the City of Boynton Beach Recreation and Parks Department to facilitate some training with the Red Flags Children's Behavior Program. And we also, during this year, met with middle school counselors to introduce the Breaking of the Silence curriculum, which you have been introduced to here today. And again, thanks to Rita's wonderful efforts, the program, as well as the Film More Than Sad and the Red Flags program, have all been approved by the Palm Beach County School System. The daunting task of getting them all implemented, which Rita has started so beautifully in Boca, is still the daunting task. We've worked this year with area libraries to promote Mental Health Month with special displays of books and handouts at the Summit, West Boynton, Hagen Ranch, and West Boca branches, as well as the Boynton Beach City Library. Perhaps you've seen some of these displays during this month. And early this month, based on our accomplishments of our first year and excellent support from Vice Mayor Marlene Ross, we were proud to receive our second proclamation from the City of Boynton Beach, proclaiming May as National Mental Health Month for 2010. We are proud of the relationships that we have built with long-standing mental health organizations and institutions in the community, and express our deepest thanks for their cooperation and support. To educate others about the many important services these organizations provide and refer people to them where appropriate. Our intent has always been to enhance these organizations' effectiveness in this way and not to duplicate services. For example, we received a number of calls from our excellent newspaper coverage in the Sun Sentinel and the Palm Beach Post in March. Some of you may have seen it. Most of the calls were from mothers, exhausted and desperate from dealing with their adult children's mental illness. They needed help for themselves and they didn't know where to turn. In each case, we encouraged them to contact the National Alliance for the Mentally Ill, for the NAMI organization, for their array of educational and support services for families dealing with chronic mental illness. And they were most grateful for this information. We know full well that for every call we receive, there are hundreds more families hurting and struggling because they don't know where to turn for help, and they can't talk about their pain. They are an integral part of our community, working shoulder to shoulder with every one of you in this room, or our neighbor next door, or the person serving us our dinner at our favorite restaurant, or perhaps even in our circle of friends. Every connection that is made helps chip away at the great barrier of stigma that keeps people from getting the help they need. I can't say enough about Rita Thrasher's guidance through this first year, the dedicated advocates and the mental health professionals who comprise our volunteer team, each of whom has their own story to tell. Some could not be here today. We have about 8 people who meet regularly because many of them work full-time and they couldn't be here because of their schedules, but I'm very pleased to introduce Carol Lazarus, licensed mental health counselor. Carol, would you raise your hand? Sitting over there. And Dr. Fartoon Mohamud, would you raise your hand, Fartoon? Who has been with us since day one, and she's been just fabulous, and we're just so grateful. They represent the other wonderful people who are with us. And we want to add more advocates to our team and hope that some of you here today will join us and share ideas. So what have we learned from this busy first year? First, we've learned that there are many families and individuals who struggle with the pain of mental illness and do not know where to go for help. And we've heard that message here this morning a few times. So we must find ways to help them get connected. Second, we've learned that in order to reach the adolescent community, we must go to them. They will not come to our workshops and sessions. You've got to go where they are, in the places where they spend their time. The schools, the internet social sites, web networking sites like Facebook and Twitter and so on. after school and in summer programming. Third, we have learned that the community is interested in what we are doing. Many people have no knowledge about mental illness. We already have some opportunities to speak to some organizations in the coming year. We also learned that grassroots efforts are nurtured by community acceptance, and we have experienced that this year in extraordinary ways. And finally, input and commitment from the community is essential in order to reach our goals, set reachable goals. So on that note, we will be looking to the greater Boynton Beach community to help identify and prioritize mental health needs, as well as what each person would be willing to do to help us do something about these needs. I'm asking you to respond. I think that you're going to have some cards on your table, or you do have cards on your table, to please respond to these cards, on these cards at your table, as well as, and we're very proud to announce this morning that we have a Facebook page for the Boynton Beach Mental Health Initiative. And if you're familiar with Facebook page, you just go on in and search for the Boynton Beach Mental Health Initiative. Ed made that happen for us a few days ago. It's a pretty bare bones page, but we're going to be building it, and we'd love to have your comments and your input on it. So please come talk to us on our Facebook page. Invite your friends and colleagues to do that. It's a good way to get the conversation going. So once priorities are set, we envision a spirited community-wide effort to address them with links for getting involved. I'd also like to mention that our team meets on the fourth Monday of every month at 6:30. We meet at the Boynton Beach West Boynton Library. Many times we can't have meetings there because the meeting rooms are taken. And so we would appreciate if anybody has any suggestions for where we might also have meetings the fourth Monday at 6:30. But the most important thing that we learned this year is that you cannot start a grassroots effort effectively without strong support from your city leaders. And so we've been most fortunate to have Vice Mayor Marlene Ross as our chief advocate, who has been absolutely remarkable, and we're very proud to call upon her right now for a few words to say to us.